for someone like me who cares a lot about presentation and visuals and how satisfying stuff is, I like to take this extra step. Here I am getting a head start on smoothing out the sides. I'm just keeping the spatula in place as vertically as I can and rotating the cake turner, not the spatula. I'm pretty focused on getting things lined up correctly. Cake decorating is not my forte, and honestly, it scares the crap out of me, so I just want to make sure that this is the best that I can make it. This looks like a big ice cream sandwich. Now that the top layer of cake has been set, the goal now is to use the whipped cream to sort of patch up any holes and add any additional cream so that we now can begin the frosting. So after filling the holes with my whipped cream, I'm sort of spreading it into a rough shield with enough room on every side of the cake for smoothing. Now this is the fun part. Using a bench scraper, I'm turning the cake turner while keeping this tool in place. And if you do this correctly, a smooth and beautiful cake shall emerge from the rough patch of whipped cream you have on this turn. A couple of gentle strokes here and there, a couple of touch-ups, and I'm calling it. This is as good as it's gonna get. The pastry tip broke. Need a way to get it back on. We are video producers, so we're gonna use gaff tape. Also, Kendall was not in the room when this happened, so shh, nobody tell her. She's only gonna see this when she watches this video. Here I am, piping little decorated shell shapes to the top of this cake as a decoration. Shout out to Gaff Tape, you're the best. And as the final touch to our strawberry shortcake, I'm placing as many of these beautiful strawberries on top of the cake as I physically can. I definitely didn't need to buy all those strawberries, but it's always good to have backup. After the final strawberry has been Tetrised in, we now present to you our version of the strawberry shortcake from Death Note. Not bad if I say so myself, but this needs to chill before we eat it. After the cake has set up in the fridge for about an hour or so, it's time to eat. But first, a little struggle as we transfer this cake, thank you Kendall, onto a more appropriate serving. The moment the knife penetrates the cake, you already can feel how soft and fluffy this cake is. When I cut cake for people, I cut big slices. And this is a big slice. And that cross section, it's pretty cool. Now that's a slice of cake. Please hold as we admire it for just a little bit longer. All right, I'm gonna eat it now. That's pretty good. The cake is fluffy, the cream is light but slightly salty, which contrasts really nicely with the cake. But I will say the star of the show is the strawberries. And yes, we did spend a lot of money to get some high quality ones, but to me, this cake is about how everything works together. And typically this cake is seen as a celebration cake for birthdays or parties or anything. And I want to thank my friend Rie again for the recipe. This is such a wonderful cake, and I wish you could have been here to taste it, but I feed you a lot anyways when I visit you, so you should be okay. But for now, I think it's time to let the team finally eat this. I'm just gonna take a potato chip and eat it. Just gonna write a couple of names in this little harmless notebook of mine. I got a couple of people I got some beef with, you know. So I'm gonna make sure I write their names down, nice and legible. Just stop watching, or you're next.
I can't hug you, man. It doesn't work.
Push him off the edge. Push him off.
30 seconds left. Round one.
Oh, man.
Stands tall.
Yo, SC on 19 months. Welcome back. Thank you for the 19.
One victory is never enough. we don't always get the appreciation we deserve.
History won't be repeating itself here.
This battle is yours. Take it! Show me what you've got! Fight until there's nothing left! Magnificent! Fight forever, Guardian!
Six months ago, I wrote that Windows 11 felt unnecessary. Have I changed my opinion? Basically, no, and here's why. Even though I tested Windows 11 with the Windows Insider program prior to its launch, I wanted to take another look. Has my impression of Windows 11 improved? Yeah, it has, in places, but it's still trying to keep up with Windows 10. Windows 11's most significant flaw is that it still feels less fun and less functional. Let me give you an example. In Windows 10's settings menu, if you navigate to personalization/themes, you'll see large evocative icons telling you what themes you've installed. Now, I like the Windows 11 settings menu, but themes here feel less about your personality and more like a neighborhood paint scheme that's been instituted by your HOA. It's very corporate. We've written stories on PCWorld.com about how to personalize your Windows 10 PC. But you can't really do that for Windows 11 because one of the things to personalize in Windows 10 is the Start menu. And in Windows 11, you still can't really do anything with it. In Windows 11, the Start menu is just a sea of icons with no real rhyme or reason. You can move them around and, well, that's about it. Sure, we know changes are coming. Microsoft has scheduled Start folders for release during the fall, but let's face it, they've already botched those too. One of the key visual elements of Windows 10 is the ability to visually weight specific apps and folders by resizing them. You can group Windows 11 apps together in a folder, but that makes the icons smaller. I mean, how does this make sense at a company where accessibility has been a priority? Just let us resize everything. Icons, folders, the Start menu itself. I mean, it might end up being ugly, but it's our ugly. Look, I'll be honest, I don't even use the Start menu. I simply hit the Windows key, type the name of the app, and then launch it. Or I just use the taskbar icon itself. Speaking of the taskbar, you still can't move it, you can't resize it, you can't drag files onto taskbar shortcuts and launch them. Look, I have no problem with the aesthetic. If Microsoft wants to move from Windows 8's Fisher-Price tiles all the way to a clean, orderly aesthetic with icons centered on the taskbar, that's fine. I mean, I honestly kind of like it. But Microsoft Edge allows you to vertically group tabs along the left or right edges of the screen, so why can't Windows? In Windows 11, Microsoft added widgets, Teams chat, replaced the search bar with a search icon, and essentially got rid of Cortana. I'll be honest, to me, all of these are almost worthless. And as a journalist, I should use widgets and its news and information. I I don't, but I've set my Edge browser to informative, where I still get a full page of news stories every time I open a new tab. The weather icon? I mean, come on, it's always sunny in California, right? And I turned off Teams chat ages ago. It's just unnecessary in a world full of the real